Chef Chalee มีประมาณ 4-5 แบรนด์ที่ดูแลอยู่ตอนเนี้ย manage เจ้าของได้ไงเพราะว่าพาร์ทเนอร์ไม่เหมือนกัน
อันนี้น่าจะหาเรื่องให้กูมีปัญหาละ
I feel like you're one of the rare chameleon chefs in a sense that whatever you do it works.
And when you open a restaurant when you're 20s, it's not really about opening the restaurant. It's about like hanging out with friends and getting slammed and bashed right after the service, which was really not our service.
Which embassy? You worked at the French embassy?
It was always like that. For some reason, at that time they think maybe they're desperate. I don't know. Yeah, all the French people watching this are gonna get pissed off. But anyways, yeah.
How was seeing the culture in France? Because obviously I know that they don't speak any English in the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure, you know.
And then the pacing must be like another level.
It's quick. It's like, you know, they can get stuff done in like 5 seconds of what someone here would be doing in about an hour.
I had no idea that you were so intertwined with French gastronomy. So, I mean, what made you step into fine dining? How was Wanayuk born? Like how you know someone's the one. I have never been able to put it in words. You just did. Do you think that Thai food can be portrayed similar to how Chinese is with using imported ingredients? A lot of people should hear this because, like, you know, they look at you now and they're like, fucking hell, you know, like the success Charlie's had. But actually, the road to this point, it took you to the almost the very bottom. What would you pinpoint the success of France has been? Like you could have the best branding in the world, but if your operation is to shits, then it doesn't matter.
I think in the end, like people want to go there for consistency.
Yeah.
No matter how close they are as you as a friend, that is the first thing they're gonna look at. You know, and then that's the first thing you go there and you're gonna be like, let's see if this fucking thing is the same as the first one. And that's the first thing that comes across the mind, no matter how nice of a person you are.
You know what really bothers me about, and like just you said, this will probably upset a lot of people. Do you think we're living in a golden generation of Thai culinary gastronomy that is like so unique that we aren't even aware of it? Okay, guys, this is Chef Top. Welcome to AOC episode 6. I'm here with Charlie.
My name is Chalee Kader. I live in Bangkok City, run a few restaurants. So right now we have Wanayuk, which is the Thai fine dining based on Koh Gang. And we have 100 Mahasit, focusing on the north and northeast. A couple of breakfast brunch places. So the diner, which is our breakfast place called Mickey's Diner on Quai Son. And then we have France, where we do our brunches and runs it all day. Yeah, so we can brunch sort of vibe atmosphere.
Very humble way, the most humble intro I think we've had here. First of all, man, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I know that you're a busy man right now. You know,
good.
France just opened on 49. Massive beast that is. And, you know, I'm very grateful. So just a little intro about the podcast. So yeah, when I went to film you last time, you know, it was for Gastronomic Lifestyle for Chris, who unfortunately passed away last year. And, you know, but he always wanted me to do one podcast with us as well. So this is almost like a continuation of that. And his death kind of just like kicked me up the ass to let just do it, you know, because I really, really regret not doing it for him. It was we were in talks, but you know, I think a part of me always was like, you know, worried about what people would think, how it would look, you know, how is it too obnoxious and self-serving for a chef to do a podcast about chefing, you know what I mean? Because normally this kind of content is other people do it, you know, either content creators, media, and there really isn't like not a leader, but like a leading personnel within the industry, like a genuine one in the industry who is using the power of storytelling to bring good exposure, you know, to the industry. And that's what I want this podcast to be, you know, to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. So yeah, you're the fourth guest I had on now. I've had Garima, she was the first one. I had Andrew Martin. I had Jim from Peru, and then I do one that I just recorded myself in between. This is the first EP that we're filming that since the first episode has been released. And I gotta say, man, the best thing about this, genuinely, is I learned so much from everyone. And the meditative side from the person speaking has been completely unreal. And that's what this podcast is. Like, you know, Andrew started talking about his his dad, the death of his dad for the first time ever in public, I think. Jim talked about a lot of his darkest secrets as well, and it it basically showed me that we chefs carry so much on our shoulders with how much pressure. Everyone knows and everyone talks about the pressure that we hold, but no one really digs deeper. It's just like it's almost like a common hashtag that we have. Oh yeah, it's a high pressure job, and that's it. But actually, I think very few people know how much pressure and what type of pressure we talk about. You work for so long, and the chance of you succeeding is so small. Especially especially in fine dining. Because and fine dining is, even though it gets a lot of media attention, it's such a small glimpse of this industry. Tiny. It's like less than 1%. But in terms of like attention, it sucks up more than probably 95% of the attention out there. Which is unfair, but it's just how the world of attention or media it works. So why I wanted to really really bring you on is, first and foremost, without blowing too much smoke up your ass, you're one of the few. I feel like you're one of the rare chameleon chefs, in a sense that whatever you do, it works. I obviously know that there has been a few bumps in the road. There has to have been, but and that's kind of like what this podcast is based around. And as I was telling people, and I'm just letting you know, so like you know the format and what questions I'm gonna ask is like, it's unscripted, it's raw, it's honest. You can share as much or as little as you want, no pressure at all. But I want this content to be for people who are either at different stages of their chefing career. An intern, finishing in a hotel and is unsure whether he should take the leap. A commie going or a demi going to a CDP and managing two people for the first time in their lives. Or a CDP going to a sous chef and managing 8 people for the first time in their lives. Or a sous chef becoming a head chef and having to design his own menu for the first time in his life. Or an executive chef for like the last 15 years who's starting his own business. I want this podcast to be for, in terms of generic content, a lighthouse, as you will, for the next generation of chefs to see, like, because we didn't have this growing up. We had cookbooks, we had very media biased kind of like interviews with Anthony Bourdain, Marco Pio White, Gordon Ramsay, but none of the raw, real shit that is like, you because I feel like with how divided some chefs can be with each other within different cities and industries that I've experienced, having worked at 4 different cities, we actually have a lot more in common, and I think the barrier that is just conversation, dialogue. You know what I mean? Like when you and I feel like this is something, that's what I want this to be. It's literally dialogue to create more dialogue. Okay. That's the base. I'm not here to. I do not plan to get anything in return. There's no sponsorship. I'm paying for this myself, but I think it's important. I really think it's important for us as a community, for the Bangkok chef community, keeping it local, being real with each other, talking, and it's not about being politically correct. It's just about having conversations, start more conversations. Okay. That's why genuinely I'm doing this. Like I said, like Chris, he always believed in the power of storytelling to benefit the industry. And he did it for the Barback. He had a podcast called the Barback Podcast, which, out of his own wit and grit, he made something out of nothing. And so yeah, this is a continuation of that. So start with you, career beginnings.
Yeah.
I mean, we've met a few times, and I think the first time was in 2019, Tatler Genti, ages ago, before France, before Wanayuk.
Yeah.
It was at Q&A. That was the first time I actually genuinely met you, and I was asking about so you started cooking in the States, am I right?
Yeah. So like everybody goes to trying to get a college degree in the States, you find a job either at a Thai restaurant or somewhere that's owned by a Thai person, and you'll sneak in the back door and then you do whatever they hand to you.
How old were you when you went to the States?
18, I think, 18, 19. Yeah. And then, just working from the back, like I said, doing everything, washing dishes, bussing tables. From there, once you get closer to the kitchen, then you feel like, there's something fun to do. There's something more interesting, than the gopher jobs you have to do.
No, that's yeah, very similar to how I started. It wasn't something you planned. You weren't like 6 years old. It was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to be a chef one day.
Yeah.
And was there a moment or a dish or a job that you had that sparked your curiosity of
I think
the kitchen?
for cooking wise, I think like it's always been interesting to me. It's always been fun for me. It's always something it's easy to understand. Once something's easy to understand, then you take more interest in it because it's there because it's something you can grasp and something you can you relate to. So it was never difficult to understand things that are happening in the kitchen. So that was when all the interest started. I mean, even at home, we'll help out, even helping out in the kitchen at home. So with that on me, I felt like, every time I got a chance to be able to get some time in the kitchen or even like, walk in there and see what they're doing, it was already like fun for me. It's really interesting to me. So, yeah, even like when I was just like bussing tables, I felt like, I really want to be in the kitchen. I don't want to be out here. That's what I had in my mind. So, and every chance I get, I would want to either like talk to the chef or talk to the guys in the kitchen, see what they're doing, from everything from peeling shrimp to like, dressing up a plate.
So your first restaurant was actually a Thai restaurant in the States, or
it
was
was
it
owned
just
by a Thai person. It was more like, back then they called it California cuisine.
yeah, one of
You know,
those. Okay.
So you always see like, the steam mussels or the steam clams on the menu. You'll see a lobster on there. You'll see a surf and turf, and then you'll see like back in the day there used to be like, tuna and mango salsa and that crap, yeah, that sort of thing. So basically it was on Highway 1 overlooking the beach. Really nice restaurant actually. And then
Have you been back?
last time I went back to San Francisco, I went back and I drove by it. I wasn't there anymore, but it was like run to another restaurant. But
Okay.
it's still, the location is beautiful. And every day it was nice to be on the coast. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't been back to the first restaurant I worked in. I think the hotel's closed now. But yeah. Ironically, the first place I worked was actually where my parents got married.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's I think it's closed now. I'm not sure. I haven't been back. And so when did you? So you lived 4 years, 3 years,
4 years.
4 years,
Yeah,
and then you came
almost 4
back.
years, yeah.
And did you go straight into cooking when you came back,
No,
or
when I came back.
what degree did you do, by the way?
So basically, I was doing psychology.
Psychology.
Yeah, and then I went to, it was at UC Riverside for a semester, and then it was too boring. Came back to San Francisco. But then so at first I was going to school for 5 days, working 2-3 days, and and then that switched to like working 5 and going to school 2 days, and to the end like I was like not really going to school and just going to work. Yeah, and
Wait,
then
did you go to international school in Bangkok?
I went to Remedy here.
Okay.
Yeah, so after doing that, and after like getting to that loop, I'd say a lot of people get in that loop, and never really finished my degree. And when I came back, worked for an import company for foods actually. So I was helping them source stuff out of Europe, attending food fairs or expos.
So you were like a supplier?
Yeah, supplier.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So then became an import manager for them, and so this is basically sourcing foods from all over Europe right now. And they
For which company? Is it still?
It's still there. They're called East West Trading.
Okay.
And back then they used to do like Blair Pack butter. I'm not sure if they still hold those accounts. A few olive oils as well, canned tomatoes, cheeses. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was there for quite a bit actually, and then stopped all the cooking that I knew, or the little that I knew anyways, and I did. And then while I was at the same time I was working for this company, a friend of mine asked me like to help them open a restaurant, set up the kitchen and then do a menu for them. And this was like out in like Tepalak somewhere, which is fucking far as shit. But yeah, that's what I did. So I went to work until 5 or 6, then went to that restaurant. And then when you open a restaurant when you're 20s, it's not really about opening the restaurant. It's about like hang out with friends and getting slammed and bashed right after the service, which was really not our service. Yeah, and we did that with friends for a bit, and then after that, after I came back to the kitchen, I felt like I really want to explore what I can do further in the kitchen, and there's an opening at the embassy, and then went there to apply for the job. So worked there for a bit, and then became a chef there, which it wasn't like a big kitchen. I mean, it's a big kitchen. It was a nice kitchen, but
Which embassy?
French embassy. Yeah.
You worked at the French embassy?
Yeah, I worked at French embassy. Yeah.
Holy shit!
So
okay.
Yeah, I was there for like 6 years.
The one in Bangkok, obviously.
In Bangkok, yeah, at the ambassador's residence. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So we'd have to entertain all local guests, everything from politicians, celebrities that would come have to meet with the ambassador. Depending on the topic of the week, of the day, yeah, I was there for about 6-7 years almost, through 3 ambassadors. Had a really good time there. They're really nice to me. They're really they gave me a lot, I feel. A lot of time to do what I wanted as well. Because when you're working for them, so, I mean, your menu has to change all the time because you're cooking for the same person that's sitting there day in, day out, even though they have different guests coming in.
So that was like your training ground almost.
Yeah, almost, yeah. Even though like I had some like Western, or European, or French background cooking from where I was in the States, it was just enough, but not that much.
But you were the chef, or was it someone? Oh wow!
Yeah. So we went there first, and there was someone else there, and then we became the chef there. And yeah.
So you must have been what? You must have been 20 in your late 20s then, early 30s.
Yeah, early 20s. I was probably like 24, 20. Must have been 25. Yeah, around there, 24, 25.
Oh, that's so surprising. I would have always assumed that a French ambassador would have a French chef for some reason.
It was always like that. And then for some reason at that time they think maybe they're desperate. I don't know. Yeah, all the French people watching this are gonna get pissed off. But anyways, yeah. So I was there for 3 ambassadors.
Were you the first Thai local resident head chef at the French ambassador?
There's one before me.
Oh, there was one before.
Yeah, and then before that, usually it's always going to be French. Yeah.
That is so cool. That is that is that is a whole nother world that must be very, very
obviously
different.
It's very intimidating the day, like, going to even apply for just to be in that kitchen, because you don't know, you're cooking for the French, and they told me this is the salary and this is what you're gonna get. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try it. But if I don't make probation in 3 months, I wouldn't be making more there in 3 months than whatever I was making here. So let's go. Yeah, so there for a bit. But while I was there, all the ambassadors that were there, the 3 that I worked for, every time they take a vacation, which they usually do once a year for at least a month, they'll give me a list of restaurants or hotels that they are affiliated with, or they know well, and I could choose to go stage there and work
really?
there. Yeah. So that's when I felt like there's a lot more for me to learn. I felt like I was learning every year, doing something new. Sometimes it'd be 2 months.
Where was your most like
I think
impactful stage that out of that program?
Must have been La Normandie. At that time was Carlos Gaudencio. He was a chef there, and then I think I've spent a good amount of time there. And at that time, I think we're talking like almost 20 years ago, right? Close to 20 years ago. Normandy was I think one of the best in the business, I
mean, it's
and then still today iconic. I feel like it's still like one of the most classiest places you can have a lunch or a dinner.
This is one of those things that I definitely want to talk about before we move on, because it doesn't get said enough. As a Thai person, I really want to know how you feel about it, because as a Thai person who is in F&B, for me, La Normandie, regardless of the chef, is like the mecca for hospitality, because that hotel, like I came into the industry late, and I remember the first time that I knew, because when I was living in Phuket, you heard of the Oriental, as Thai people would call it, and you don't really like, because like I have a lot of friends in hotel business and stuff like that. They're hotel owners in Phuket and everything, and I you just hear about this name, and you never really grasp the importance of this brand in the world and the impact it's had until you get into the industry. So when you were living in London, and you start hearing the Mandarin Oriental pop up here and there, and you're like, shit. I was like 21, I think, when it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute, is this Mandarin Oriental the same fucking Mandarin Oriental that was in Bangkok, like from where I'm from? And then when I connected the dots, that the first Mandarin Oriental in the world was actually the one in Bangkok, that is actually, in a sense, a Thai brand, in the sense that it's like one of the leading hospitality companies in the world. The sense of pride, I could never explain it. It was the first time that I was super proud of like being Thai. I was like, holy shit, it's so cool to be Thai. And then when I came back to Thailand, to Bangkok in 2016, and I went to eat at the Normandy for the first time ever. And the Normandy back in the day was, first of all, I think it was like the first real French restaurant in Southeast Asia. If you really look back at the history, the fact that it was the first hotel to have aircon, it was the first of many things. And like back in the, I mean, I don't know the exact details, but like in the 90s, it was like holding only 3-star Michelin chefs. Like Thomas Keller cooked there, Pierre Gagne, the Bra brothers, like Tuaso, like all the culinary gods. And it was the first one before four hands dinner was ever a thing, And like you said, like it's one of those rare places where the address ascends the chefs. With no disrespect to all the chefs, whoever was there previously, whoever was there now, whoever will be there in the future, it's one of those rare places where the address itself, ascends the person. It's one of those like establishments that whoever is the chef there, because you become like a glimpse of history within the Normandy, and yeah, that's how I felt. I mean, how do you feel the same way about the Normandy when you think of it in that sense?
So, I mean, at the time, like being there, really young, in that kitchen, where I think at that time probably the best socio there, the best team in that kitchen also, which a lot from that team now is running Michelin star restaurants, running big hotels, and also the front of house is just they were always spot on. It was never like never a glitch, the way they move around that room. And like I said, I keep repeating this. This is like almost 20 years ago. So back then, everything about all this fine dining boost that we've had in the last 5 to 10 years is not the same. If we talk about the last 20 years, they were like the temple.
They were
at that time, and having Chef Carlos there as well, holding it down, and also the whole hotel being able to like push this temple of theirs to its utmost potential in every sense of the word, made it a special place. I mean, yeah, it was just immaculate at the time. So that was one of the places, and I think the other one I'd have to give props to was Mezzaluna, and at that time was run by the String brothers.
They were at Mezzaluna before. Yeah. I totally forgot that.
And then, when I got into that stage, it was a short one, but yeah, they ran the ship a totally different way. They were doing 2 Germans doing an Italian restaurant, I think,
Oh, was it an Italian restaurant before?
Yeah, we were rolling pastas, I remember, at lunch. But everything they did for dinner service that they had to prep for was super new. And again, this is like over a decade ago. Everything was every dish was prepared like 2-3 days in advance. There were tubes, there were powders coming out, there was there were gels, there was perfume bottles, all those things that you feel like are tacky today. That was cool back then. They were
yeah.
And
of course.
they were probably the first ones that were doing it. It's totally different from normally. And nobody's like French service, gloves, big brass plates, table side service, all those things. And then you come here, it's like they're like pushing boundaries of trying to be very, very modern. And the amount of like black plastic tins of powders and stuff in the pantry was amazing to me as well. What every little powder could do.
Yeah.
And that was also really eye-opening for me, and how meticulous they were. And as obviously you can see in their food today at Suring, it's almost laser cut. I mean, there's like
it is almost
there's two restaurants in this city that's laser. It's probably like Wilfred at Blue and the Suring brothers. But the attention to detail at Suring was just immaculate. I remember that to do like this potato that was a fence, and it was like the amount of work that had to just go into just making this before like everybody's fucking using stencils these days, right?
Yeah.
But this is just a ring mold, and you have to put and make this little thin potato around this ring mold to actually just make a fence and sort of thing, or like just to press noodles out of like a fish tank tube or something like that. I probably didn't use a fish tank tube, but that's what I felt it was. But yeah, all those things, like all those toys you see in kitchen world today, they were like busting it out 15 years ago.
Wow.
In like
innovative before they became household staple kitchen equipment. They were exactly like DIYs,
and then they were they were doing all those things. I'm sure like in the abroad they were doing it a bit longer than that, but they brought it to the city, and that's when I witnessed it firsthand, and that was intriguing to me. So I would say like of all of those places that I had to stage at, even though I went to do Bread Le Nord, Bread at Sukhothai. Where else did I go? Also with Chef Hervé at Le Brûleux. Back then, he's also like a really good French restaurant in Soy 19. And also been sent to Paris as well, and worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the Quai d'Orsay.
Oh wow!
In their kitchen for the minister himself, and then being in that kitchen was just also another like eye-opening thing, because like it never stops. You're pumping out food for staff that work there, for the minister himself when he has guests, and you obviously like you're representing the face of France, and then they have to just make everything as meticulous and as
I had no idea that you were so intertwined with French gastronomy. This is like I was telling you, the great thing about this for me personally, from a very selfish point of view, is I learned so much about the person I interview. And it's like, if we had never had this conversation, I would have had no idea that. I mean, I did hear, I think I read it in the Michelin article, I think your city's picks or something that was written by Dan, that you worked at the French embassy. Now that it's coming back to me, but I didn't know that it was that long. I didn't know that you were the chef. I thought So how was seeing the culture in France? Because obviously, I know that they don't speak any English in the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure.
And then the pacing must be like another level.
It's quick. It's like they can get stuff done in like 5 seconds of what someone here would be doing in about an hour. I remember the first assignment I got was like, you just go there and then there's a stack of potatoes, and probably it's my height, and then you just cannelle it. I need like cannelles all day. I'm like, fuck. So I was there from like 7:30 or something. At noon, I was still cannelling. I'm like, shit. And then that muscle memory is never going to go anywhere. Second day was, I think, penciling fucking red radishes. Just the season. So, yeah, just making pencils out of it. Yeah. And the next day was like just piping a shit ton of zucchini flowers, sticking it to like a water ball and just piping.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, yeah. Long days, but it was fun. It was like super clean. It was super efficient. It was like they were just quick at everything they did.
A different level of hustle.
Yeah.
Like there's just, I mean, it's just a different level of urgency.
Yeah,
I feel
with
Europe.
It is.
It's just just culturally been there for a long time. Everyone who was there before you was fast, so you had to be just as fast or even a bit faster.
Not fast in like like
chaotic.
get shit done.
No. Yeah,
it's like this is like I'm fast and this the best fast I'm gonna be at. You know? And then it was just like I keep using the word efficient because you look at it and you're like, fuck, you go back
they
home
waste
and
no time.
Like,
they waste. You don't waste 3 seconds. There's not a movement that they do. I feel, especially during service, like prep is a different game. It's it's like all out guns blazing, and I feel like when it comes to service, there's just like every action, there's a thought, and there's like you're already 7 steps ahead, and it's the only way to stay on top of a busy service. And and I always say to all chefs, I really recommend everyone to work in a very busy restaurant. Because it's just
also very busy in the sense I would like them to work in like in a foreign kitchen if they have the opportunity as well, just to see like the prep and the readiness and the and ready to fight sort of thing. I would say MEP is more than you need to like need be done, and you see the MEP and you see the MEP like they're to the point of like how far I can push my MEP that I'm still making the best dish I can and also waste the least time in operating myself as well.
Absolutely.
So all those things like I think come into play. Also obviously it's the chef that holds the place down and makes it efficient, but I feel like everyone behind him is just just on spot, which sometimes I'm not complaining, but it does happen. It might take one person there, but it might take 5 years to do one thing.
Absolutely. No, it's true. It's something that I think will slowly change. I think that if I'm asking you a direct question now, do you think we are right now, especially with what has happened in the Michelin Gala 2 weeks ago, do you think we're living in a golden generation of Thai culinary gastronomy that is like so unique that we aren't even aware of it? Because I feel like we are.
I'm not sure if it's like what the word golden is, or I think it's at its peak of what it's
what it has been.
What it has been, at its highest right now. It's got so much more to go. I think it's got a long way to go. We live in a city that's just booming for restaurants, casual, fine, street, everything is here, and then at great prices with so much heavy talent, like heavy hitters in the city. If you look on the list of like, the best chef awards or whatever the Knives was, like Bangkok's the 3rd on that list, the amount of chefs on that whole list. So, besides that, it's just that we're here to like, push out really good food. And if we're talking just about Thai food itself, we're seeing so much movement in it, so much push. We're so patriotic to our food that every time someone touches the food and tries to make it new, it's just called fusion right away.
Yeah.
Or
do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think you need the balls to be pushing it, but but also you need to go in a way that makes sense, and has some history to it in order to go forward, in a way. And also keeping to true flavors, but finding ways for it to evolve. I mean, you see in French cuisine that, back in the day, I'm not sure if like I'm gonna offend people, they used to call nouvelle cuisine.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was there, and then people accepted it, and it was moving, and it kept moving. Even though everything structure-wise on incorporating a dish or the culinary can maintain itself, but it kept moving, kept evolving.
You know what really bothers me about, and like just you said, this will probably upset a lot of people. พูดดีกว่า I've always been shocked. One, I'm super proud that you know how I feel about Thai food. I feel like I respect it so much that I stay clear out of it. I think I'm the only chef in the country that has a star that doesn't specialize in Thai food at all. I'm the only one that does like Western food. So I'm just like a brown boy cooking white people food. This is what I tell people,
Not that brown.
when people ask. I'm not just a brown boy cooking white people food. And the reason being is, even though there has been nudges from the media, the press, even when things like, I'm so, like you said, we're so protective of it that I feel like I really haven't done my due diligence to almost just even utter the words like this is Thai inspired. I don't even dare go down that road. And who knows? One day I might open a Thai restaurant. I probably will have to at some point. I think it's a cultural hole inside of me that has always been like, but I've always wanted to do it the right way. Like you said, doing not just jumping on it for the sake of jumping on it. Like I said, I want to do due diligence, relearn it from an adult point of view. Because the only attachment I have is just like memory. And this is why like ice is, Son. I'm probably the biggest fanboy of Son because like the food he makes is literally my childhood memory. Muslim family, Southern Thai food, Nakhon Si Thammarat. Like I was born literally 3 kilometers from where his house, like 13 kilometers from where his house was. Pak Panang land. The fact that it has like the Malay, the Muslim Southern Thai twang to a lot of the stuff that he does, really, really. So whatever he does is already amazing, but the nostalgia impact is just like fucking on steroids and Viagra on top of that. But I've always been curious because why do you think that Thai food can be portrayed similar to how Chinese is with using imported ingredients? Because I feel like there hasn't been a restaurant that showcases that in that way. Like use the world's best in terms of obviously best is a very difficult marker to have because how do you quantify best? But I feel like we are so scared of locality with what it may bring that we're actually stopping Thai flavors to reach. Like when you go to when you go to a Chinese restaurant, Cantonese restaurant, and you see them use like the best, a 2-3 star Chinese restaurant, and they use abalone from South Africa, Japan, or wherever that the chef deems that is best suited for the dish. You will never say that is not authentic. Do you know what I mean? Like Hong Kong is a perfect example. It has fucking nothing there. And the best restaurants in Hong Kong use the best ingredients from the world. And I feel like there hasn't been a Thai chef who's taken that leap yet to just like do Thai flavors, make the flavors authentic, but use in terms of like, especially proteins, just because our ancestors didn't use it because it wasn't available, doesn't, where does the line of authenticity? Like, I always ask myself, where in history do you draw the line of authentic? Like how far back do you have to go before something is like mulberries have been growing in Thailand for the last 10 years now. In 30 years' time, will they be considered native or authentic? In 100 years' time, will they be considered native and authentic? Like how far back in history, like, we didn't have noodles. We were a rice and relish eating nation before the Chinese came, So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I'm just curious to, would you ever like,
No, I don't think using an imported product or an ingredient really dictates anything being Thai. I think in the end it's just the flavor of the end product. And if something is going to enhance the food to be better, then sure, I'm for it. But the point of I think why everybody's using the local product in their food is because it just represents what they want to do and what their ethos is, and also what they're trying to accomplish with their brand, their restaurant, and their own beliefs. I don't think it has anything to do with if I was to use a lobster in one of my curries, I'll be
less Thai.
I'll be less Thai, or be deemed an asshole or a bastard, or
bastardizing Thai cuisine. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't think that is the problem. I think before this whole local boom of everybody trying to be locally friendly, I was gonna say, we're all using import products. I think there was restaurants. You'd see restaurants using lamb shanks in their masaman, using lobsters in their tom yum.
Scallops.
You see that. You see it was always there, and there's nothing wrong with that, and then there's nothing. No one's against it, But I think just with the push of the variety of local products we have and we have available to us here. And also, like, I come back to it again, like, the beliefs of each chefs and what they want to represent in their menu just makes it their choice more than anything. It's not really using a foreign product doesn't really lower the standards or lower the thought of not being Thai, for me at least. And at least like for a lot of restaurants, like if someone was to use an imported product and not showcase their region to its utmost, and give respect to their region with its produce and with their cuisine, I think it would have a lesser feeling of importance, and also it would feel not as, you won't feel as proud.
I agree. It's, people don't understand. It is so much harder, so much more work, so much more cost to use and source local products at that level and that consistency. Like, I think I've eaten a salt 9 times. It is the only restaurant in the whole world that I've eaten this regularly at, and I've been very blessed. It's like one of the most typical places to eat, to get a table, and I'm super lucky. And every time I have overseas friends, like I took Kim there. Kim, who's now the chef de cuisine of Gordon Ramsay. It was like, she was like, "Where should I?" I'm like, "You have to go to Salt. You're Thai. You're from the South. Yeah, we and it was a meal that blew her away, and I get really upset. It really fucking pisses me off when I post about going to Salt, and then I will have some people message me being like, "Oh yeah, they increased their price." I'm like, if that's your main focus, you're fucking missing the point. Like, it's not a people feel like fine dining is this corporate greed that like squeeze. They increase their price because they probably have to. No chef has ever increased their price just to increase their profit margins by 10-15%. It's like either their cost of operations has gone up or the cost of ingredients. Those are the only 2 things.
No, in the end, like, if you can do it, well, fuck not. I mean, Thai food doesn't have to be 30 baht or $30. Like,
and what people don't see, and Son's a great example. Like, to source things that certain size, that certain quality, like it's the same fucking fruit, it's the same 7-colored lobster, but to get it in the way, the pristine level that he has it, is just triple the price that you would find in what they're comparing it to. It would be like going to Tesco's or Lotus and then looking at a beef sirloin and then being like, why would a beef sirloin at a Penthouse Grill or whatever be 5 times the price? They understand that, but the moment it's like a local ingredient, they just have no separation between the level of, like, you can have you can have the same fucking fruit, but one would be a generic one, most likely from China, that's just imported here by truck, so you don't pay taxes, and then sold on the market as a local fruit. And then you can have one that's locally grown, really massive, and really, really more expensive. And yeah, no, props for me. Props to all the chefs, not just I, like, Chef Tam, even like all the Thai chefs that I see that are making their lives, not making their lives harder, working harder to be able to deliver culinary standards of food while maintaining integrity to use local ingredients. I applaud everyone because it's something I don't think I could ever do. I think it's so it goes without saying that the headaches, the stress, the costs, the to maintain that consistency day in, day out, whether you do 20 covers, 50 covers, and and because the infrastructure of distribution isn't quite there yet. Because demand was never there. 10 years ago, no one was using these sand molds that Chef Ice is using now. 30 years ago, no one was like importing live fish from the South just to fucking, have it in the way that you do. And hopefully you guys, are laying the foundations for better infrastructure for distribution of food because you're creating the demand. You're making the demand possible. Because without, and this is why chefs play such a crucial, important role. I hate the word sustainability because it's so vague and it's so deep and complex. And just because you grow a few herbs and fruits in your restaurant doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean, and just because you use local ingredients, it doesn't mean that either. No, it goes beyond that. It's about the people. It's about the ecosystem. It's about sustainability should be like a closed loop, but with materials, people, culture, education, everything.
Yeah, I mean, sustainability is like thrown around so much, as a greenwash method.
Absolutely.
We never use it. When we get forms from the 50 best, even from Michelin, to fill it out, like, we don't even bother because, like, we know, like, whatever we're doing is not even, like,
not worthy of a mention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like
and
I'm not
I
even
feel
gonna-
like it's not worthy of a mention, and it's almost insulting to those who are going above and
Yeah,
beyond.
yeah. I mean, mind you, like, you know, we try our best to do what we can, but you know, it's like it's never enough to even deem ourselves that. And I remember when we opened Mahasit, and then just because we're using local products, we never pushed for it, and then we're using whole cows and stuff like that, and people and giving us like the sustainability badge and claim. But I'm like, I'm selling beef. It's it's one of the biggest problems we have in this world, you know, against sustainability. So with that being said, you know, I mean, that's why I'm saying like that's just one example. I think people don't understand it as much as well. People need content, so they'll slap you with something that they can make a story of.
I went into that in the third episode. You know, I went quite deep. It'll be probably released now. I might have been canceled before this episode EPs, but I really dug into the media. Not give them shit. I just basically told the world that it's two different businesses. The media is in the business of attention. They need to do what they need to do to, you know, to grab headlines, to have clicks, to have views and stuff. It has nothing to do with the credibility of
No, I
anything,
mean,
you know?
yeah, I mean, without media, we won't be here as well. So, you know,
Exactly. It goes hand in
like,
hand.
you know, it goes hand in hand. I feel like, you know, we need them as well. And then they've done a lot for us and a lot for the nation, a lot for the industry as well. You know, so it's not, and whatever I said, it's not like a banter or anything against them. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes it happens. But also sometimes it just happens from the restaurant or the chef itself, you know, like, okay, if you want to be fully sustainable and really sustainable, yeah, if you can check all the boxes, then great, you know, I respect that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in this city, in this country, that's pushing damn hard for those things, and in their own way, in their own humble way that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And you know, to the point that I feel like I'm just proud to know a few of them, and then I know how much work and how much money they have to sacrifice to actually be properly sustainable. Sustainability is not a cheap game.
No, it's the most expensive game.
It's taking a chunk of your profits and dedicating it to that particular model or part of your business that it's almost like charity in a way, which is great.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way of putting it, you know. And it's a lifelong commitment.
No, it is.
It's not like you go out there and you're like, okay, I'll be sustainable, and then 5 years later, like, okay, it's not working.
Yeah, and then it's not like you know, you're running a business and yeah, it gets on its own. It's got its own wheels now. It can run. Like being sustainable is day in, day out. It's
a lifestyle
year to
choice
year,
almost.
you know? It's a lifestyle choice, and you can't quit. And once you quit, you know, it's just I'm sure those people don't quit, but once you quit, I'm sure they'll feel itching to, you know, to do things that are to better the world.
So, what was your first restaurant?
My first restaurant
Was it 100?
No, it was a place called Surface. I just left the embassy, came out, opened a restaurant called Surface, and this was probably when I think I must have been 28, 27, 28, yeah. So, how many years is that now? Yeah, too many anyways. I'm 43 now. Yeah, so I opened that restaurant, and I wanted to do a tasting menu. And then, you know...
This was 2008.
This was let's see, was 15, it was 28, so 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. 2008, 2009 could it be then? Yeah, so we opened that, and I was trying to do a tasting menu actually at the restaurant, and this was like before anybody's doing a tasting menu. I know obviously places like coming back to the Normandy and Mezzaluna now, they're doing degustations. You don't hear that anymore.
No, you don't.
Yeah. So they're doing that, and I feel like I wanted to do a standalone because these restaurants are only in hotels.
Yeah.
You don't have, if it's a standalone, you know, you're selling the same old commercial dishes that everybody's seen. So yeah, we want to do that, like trying to find ways to present food differently, trying to make a proper, like, you know, 9-course menu, 8-9-course menu. And then, yeah, it did not catch on. And then a few months in, we're talking to our shareholders, and they're like, why don't you just start selling pastas like everyone else? I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, so then, yeah, we did that. So I had to do like the same stuff that you see everywhere, the pastas with like the truffle cream and the truffle paste. And you see a salmon on the menu, and then you see, yeah, those full dishes that you might see at a brasserie or something like that. So we brought all those things into the restaurant, and then it sold. It made money. It was rewarding for doing something I didn't really want to at first.
How did that make you feel? I mean, like a lot of like people look at you now. Like I have some people who are, they come up to me like, oh, Chef Chalee, everything he touches turns into gold. And it's something people rarely say. I feel like you're one of the rare chefs, and I've said this to you many times, that has the blend. You're like a chameleon. Like you've found, I mean, the term success is it's everyone measures it in their own way, but you've definitely found some sort of success in every category and genre. You've been able to convince Bangkok to, I feel like you found a way to commercialize American diner food. And that's something, if you had told me that, I would have never, I think that would have been the hardest type of cuisine to make it here.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to understand.
No.
And, because of the sizing and everything, it's not cheap either. You can't sell it for like 99 baht, you know what I mean? And, but you've been able to do that with Mickey Diners, and then France, and then Wanayuk, and then Wanahan Maset.
In the end, like,
was there any failures before that?
Oh yeah, so many. Like, we closed Surface. Surface opened around 9 years, and and then we closed
9 years
right before COVID, which is a blessing. You'll not be stuck with that. Yeah, and in the end, and then we had a place called Knock, which was like a sneaker shop with a dining area in it as well, which we closed. I closed a place called Charm. It was in
What was the most painful closure?
Painful closure monetarily must have been Knock, but painful as in like sentimental value must have been Surface. Yeah. Until today, I drive by it and I still look at the parking lot. Now it's facaded, but every time, even the missus was telling me, like, every time we come through this road, you like look at them, like, yeah, like I spent a lot of time here,
9 years is a long time. I can't believe I've never heard of that, man.
Yeah, and then like at the end was just like people just came in, had a quick meal, and then it was a good place to drink, and yeah, I guess lost, but yeah, it was a long time. So that had lots of sentimental value to me as well, but also made me realize I need to like take the next step and get more serious and do something that's more worthwhile. And then also after all these like failures, to do something that's gonna score, because that happened before COVID, and I didn't really think about it. I never I felt like I'll be able to get back up and fight again, get back up and open something new. It didn't really hit me for a while, and then once I look back, I was like, at that point, I probably had like not even 10 grand in my bank account, and this was like just not so many years ago, pre-COVID, and then everything was like gone already. I didn't have anything. There's no more restaurants. There's only one in the pipeline, which is Wanayuk, and then the Wanayuk was like a big, massive step, and trying to go into the fine dining game, taking something like Gang and moving that up into that realm, and it could feel really gimmicky, or it could be really cool. Like, people believed in it. People, said like, it's not going to work. And how are you going to make something like everybody eats for 30, 40 baht and bring it to that level of like $100? So all those things. And at that point, I felt like it was just like, shit, this is like struggle. This is like make it or break it sort of time, So one year came during COVID. We weren't confident anymore, so we just left it, didn't touch it too much. And at the last year of COVID, we tried to start hiring, and then we went through one more year of like lockdown. So we were carrying a bunch of staff, and then gaining more debt without even starting yet. So
I had no idea how stressful, because like you said, you were at a point in your life where you must have been working already for over a decade by then.
yeah,
More than that.
yeah.
You are obviously seen the boom of
Mm.
the culinary landscape in Thailand just at the beginning of it. There must have been an urge for you to make it. And I think a lot of people should hear this, because they look at you now and they're like, fucking now, like the success Charlie's had. But actually the road to this point, it took you to the almost the very, very bottom.
No,
In
no.
terms of like
Yeah, I was like no saving, nothing. There was nothing to my name at one point, and but the best thing about all of it, like that I see, I don't even feel sorry for myself, and I don't worry about it even. I feel like like I feel like I have that capacity to just keep going,
Yeah.
no matter what the adversity is. So not trying to like sound conceited, but I feel like that was the only thing I had to my name that was of value to me and is of value to me as today. It wasn't so long ago, like I said, but I feel like in after opening Wanayuk, even at first like trying to find its own feet, and then after Wanayuk, then we still had Mahasid on our hands as well, with a big debt to it at the time. Then we started to we opened Mickey's during COVID as well. And so everything was really piling up. All these brands, Franz came later, and they were not generating anything. They were just in the red. Some of them are still on the red because we still have to pay off our debts and everything. So with that, it was just like it was all there and it was all piling up. And then once everything started to come back to its feet, when you start to find its concept and its image and its way, we could take it from there. We moved the diner to Gaysorn, and that has been a blessing. And Mahase, which is probably like the baby I love one the most, is it's coming back to its own again and being able to feed people and entertain people. And I think the food that we do at Mahase and trying to push the food of the Northeast and the values of the Northeast as well, on the North, has been great for myself, and also I think for the people that enjoy the food there. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And then Franz came at the end, and just went to the moon with that one.
I mean what made you step into fine dining? Was it did someone approach you? How was Wanayuk born?
I think just because I told you about Surface and how I wanted to do that degustation menu.
Yeah.
and then never
That
worked.
stuck with
and
you.
That stuck with me. I'm like, I need to do this. People usually do it earlier in their career because you need the wheels to do it. I did this when I was 40. That's late. And to be having to do this fine dining, and fine dining is not just about the food needs to be great. That's a given. Everything around it, every detail around it needs to be as good, as the food as well. So when you're doing it at 40 and you have to mine all these things and then make sure all these components come together and the whole package is true and the whole package is right, was quite a big ask. And then we, after I think the first few months or even the year, we got our shit together, and then I think put the pieces into its place and was able to actually describe what we felt, the whole Kaogang concept that we wanted to pull off at Wanayuk.
ช่วงไหนมีช่วงไหนไหมสำหรับเชฟชาลีที่แบบว่าเปิดวันนายกแล้วแบบว่าคิดว่าเฮียแม่งกูจะรอไปวะมีแบบว่าเซอร์วิสอันนึงหรือว่าเมนูแรกหรือเมนูที่สองที่แบบว่าเป็นต่ำที่สุดเลยที่แบบว่า
Yeah, at first when we did it, it was we were trying to keep it as humble as possible, and then it was like you cannot keep fine dining humble. Even then, you might say that the food at some Thai restaurants that are on the list may look humble or feel humble, but there's no humbleness in doing fine dining. I think it needs to be on the plate effortlessly. It needs to be bold. It needs to be confident. it needs to showcase who and what you are. And at first we weren't really doing that. So I was like contemplating to myself like how we're gonna like push this to a sense that it should be and it could be. So yeah, I think the first year was also like the first half year was also a struggle for us to find our feet. And but all the pressures around it as well of having to prove ourselves to the world that we can take this concept, we can push the whole idea to the locals first, obviously, and then if the locals believe it, then the foreigners will come.
So, next question for me. There's actually so much more I want to go through. You can actually answer in Thai นะคิดว่าถ้าเกิดอยากตอบภาษาไทยก็ได้นะ
Yeah.
เพราะว่ามันจะเป็นผมคิดว่าใช่ I think
My
I want
Thai
to try
is-
let's do half the podcast in Thai.
My Thai is so crap.
Mine too. We could be
so-
crap together.
Yeah, I just don't want people shitting on me. Yeah.
สำหรับท็อปเนี่ยสิ่งที่แบบว่าอยากสนใจที่สุดเนี่ยก็คือเชฟชาลีมีประมาณ 4-5 แบรนด์ที่ดูแลอยู่ตอนเนี้ยแล้วหาเวลาแล้วแบบว่า manage เจ้าของได้ไงเพราะว่าพาร์ทเนอร์ไม่เหมือนกันอันนั้นมันเป็นสิ่งที่แบบว่าผมสนใจมากเพราะอยากรู้สำหรับตัวเอง แล้วแบบว่า curious เพราะว่ามันเป็นสิ่งที่แบบว่ามันแบบว่าถ้าเกิดพาร์ทเนอร์นี่จะอิจฉาพาร์ทเนอร์นั้นไหมแล้วอีกอย่างหนึ่งก็คือเวลาแบบว่าผมอยากรู้เลยว่าเชฟชาลีแบบว่า prioritize เวลายังไงมันมีขั้นตอนหรือว่าแค่ทำอันไหนที่แบบว่าต้องการ urgency มากที่สุดหรือว่ายังไงหรือว่า
อันนี้น่าจะหาเรื่องให้กูมีปัญหาละ มันตอบยากมันก็พูดยากแหละมันไม่มีวิธีที่ชัดเจนหรือว่าวิธีที่จะอธิบายอันนี้ให้มันแบบมันตรงไปตรงมา I feel like you just need to be straightforward at start. If someone wants, because all the restaurants we have are not owned by the same people. So I think just delivering on what is on the description or on the expectations, I think is what you need to clear out at first. A lot of times I've been blessed that I've met a lot of really great people around me, a lot of people that really understand me, even though I'm sure in the back they might talk shit, which is normal. Everybody talks shit wherever, but I feel that I've been blessed with really, really good people that just hand me opportunities and I don't know where it's from, but I'm really thankful for that.
But you always deliver. I feel like you honestly a bit like Chef Tam. I see you two as very natural Thai leaders. I mean, without Chef, what she's doing about Depa and what you're doing on Wanayuk, there has never really, there are certain, everyone's a leader when you're a chef, when you're an owner of a business, and then there are certain leaders who are like leaders of chefs, and I feel like you and Chef Tam find a way to keep a very core member of Thai staff motivated, not only just motivated, but like willing to go to the depths of hell, gates of hell. Whether when you made the post, I think last year, ordering fucking like you ordered like 60 cups of fucking chai yen, and you were delivering it to friends after a busy brunch service, and you're like, oh fucking hell, grab driver car go now like that. And I thought that was so, it's so like it's so you. And that's something I think you shouldn't, you should give yourself a lot of credit for. Not many people have that. Like a lot of chefs, especially when they start with fine dining, they're great at cooking. They're great at the mise en place. They're great at the creativity. But the moment they have to manage people, they fucking crumble to shit. And then you have some chefs who are not good at cooking, not good at managing, but they're fantastic at storytelling, branding, marketing. And then you have some chefs who are not great at cooking, not great at branding and marketing, but they're fantastic people. And then, I feel like you have a great balance of all three, And, but yeah, so for example, like obviously with France opening in 49 now, what do you how do you see like time? Time is our biggest important asset.
Time. There's only 24 hours in a day. You need to sleep. You need to take a shit. You need to eat. So Yeah, and I think in the end of the day, it's like you need to have good people behind you. Like I said, like I was blessed to have great people to invite me to do things, give me opportunities to do things, and that's on the top level, right? But then when you look back, you need to have, your guys, your there that's gonna hold down the place, people you trust, people you just need to pick up the phone call and say one sentence, and that's what you
Mm,
want. When you have that camaraderie and you have that connection and that relationship with your best guys, that's more than anything
priceless.
that's priceless.
And
No?
that is something that people outside of the kitchen, I think, will never ever. They obviously have it in their own industries,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like telepathic, you know.
No, yeah. And then at every restaurant we have someone there that is that person for me. I mean, I love all my guys, but obviously, like, it is what it is, that you have your top layer that is there to, like, cushion you, and also to support you, and be there for all the ideas, the needs, the tantrums you're gonna have,
Mm-hmm.
and then for them to be able to, like, understand you, and then also be able to, like, take what your beliefs and what you're thinking to the level that you want it to be. I can't ask for anything more. So, I'm only here because of them as well, and also the people that give me the opportunity to be me, and to be able to get to where I am as well. I'm not sure if I'm successful yet, but I feel like I have come to a point that if I look back 10 years ago, I feel like, yeah, I'm somewhere that's a bit better, you know, and then I feel that I could not be here without, like I said again, the people that work with me, and also the people that have given me the opportunities that I have.
To go from 10,000 baht in your bank account during COVID to having 5 brands, well established brands, and then just opening a monster with Kunpla and 49. I can't wait to go. I'm really, it's down the road now from where I am, so definitely gonna be giving that a visit soon.
Yeah.
So outside of the kitchen, the one thing that I have, the thing that I really admire about you as well is your relationship with your wife. Nam. I feel like you guys are the undisputed power couple in many sense. With what she does, but I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the partners behind enough. How instrumental has she been to your success? I mean, how long have you guys been together?
We've been together like we've only been married this year, but we've been together for probably like 6-7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great to have her behind me. I feel like someone that's strong enough.
How did you meet? You met her at one of your restaurants, or?
No, I met her. I think I was doing a restaurant in M Quartier, and they were running or taking over one of the restaurants in that building from their company or something like that. Yeah, and I saw her, but I didn't do anything about it for a year. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways, it was a long time ago. But yeah, that's where I saw her. But she did go to the same school as me. But yeah, only met her outside of it. Yeah, but it's great. See, you need someone there that's strong enough to not take your bullshit and take your bullshit. Right?
That is such a fucking good way of saying it. Every time someone asks me how someone's the one, I have never been able to put it in words. You just did. To not take your bullshit, but that's a very fine line to have as a woman,
Yeah. And then I think with that, it makes everything. There's respect. There's also tolerance. There's also a good sense of trying to keep calm, and then trying to find solutions. We're both really hotheads too, so we'll have clashes. I mean, I think it's in every relationship, but how you're going to sit back and take the back seat in some occasions, and also like, or be in the front, whatever it is. I think the balances that we've had makes us stronger as well. And also the cat has probably kept us together for this time.
I love your cat. Honestly, the cat's an anger. It's like I feel like it's cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, we do couples counseling, but the cat has probably kept us together in lots of bad times, I'm sure. Yeah.
You're not gonna get another one?
No, I think
No, one's good.
The building doesn't allow us, but yeah, if they're watching. Yeah. So yeah, the cat's name is Pak Chi, and yeah, he's probably like our biggest.
When did you? Is it him or her?
Him. Yeah,
when did you have Pak Chi?
We got Pak Chi 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah. We found him.
That's a great name. Fucking best name for a cat ever.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So yeah.
Michelle, next cat we're gonna name it after a Thai herb. None of this fucking Western white boy ingredients. We have mango. Mango's local, so is peanut. Yeah. So
you have tarragon yet?
No, we fucking. Epic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So what else do I want to talk about? Honestly, there's I literally just look, man, the I think a lot of chefs can take from this. To be honest, this was the most chefy episode we've had. So thank you for going into detail. I think a lot of chefs who are watching this will benefit. I think a lot of people watching this who aren't chefs will probably be a lot confused. And that's fine. This is I want to start off with chefs and then branch out later. And it's definitely a niche podcast. And I definitely know that the information you had added value to a lot of viewers who are in the industry, who are looking at this, who are listening to this, whether it's short form, long form, Spotify, YouTube. And for sure, the main takeaway I have is that your journey hasn't been traditional. You started off much later. That should give a lot of confidence to a lot of people that it's never too late to do anything. And this perception that people have, I've been lucky that I went down a very traditional route, the most predictable route. Start really young, sub 20, start straight away, didn't go to the culinary school, worked in the right places, had the right mentorship. So I started really young. And probably my slow lap was when I went to Singapore and to Bangkok. But then looking back now, I have learned a lot of other things, management, cultures, business, that otherwise because I always assumed that you have to work in the best fine dining restaurants, 2 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 3 star, and then when you're ready, open a restaurant, and then you'll find success. Because that's the data that I got given when I first started. I looked at all the successful chefs, Gordon Ramsay, all the Jason Atherton, all these big boys in London at the time. That's the route they went. And what you don't realize, Dad, owning a restaurant almost has fuck all to do with being a chef. It's like 20% of it.
Yeah.
You have the other fucking 80, which has, and that's the shit that people never talk about. Managing the finances, managing staff, the marketing. Getting your brand out there. It has never been harder nowadays in 2024. There's just so much more noise, and your roots to mirror that and still find success in the way that you have should give a lot of confidence to people that there's no rule book at all. You just have to, like you said, not give up, keep going. Understand, be true to yourself. I think that's crucial. Like when you talk about the difference between surface and 100 mahaset is like. But can I ask though, has there ever been a dish that you created, you put on the menu, and then you realize that it's too much of yourself? Has there ever been a dish that you created for it's too chefy and it doesn't work?
I don't know.
No?
Can't think of one. I just feel like if it's not good, we just scratch it, and I feel like
a lot of chefs don't have that honesty with themselves,
Yeah, just and then or sometimes because I don't come from a background of having so much culinary schooling and stuff like that. So whatever I'm gonna put on a plate, sometimes I don't want it to be more than it needs to be. So a lot of times I feel awkward when there's too much on a plate. And how do I say this and not sound like a dick? But yeah, I don't want to look like I just came out of culinary school and I everything I learned is on that one
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
You know?
You see that a lot.
You see a lot.
that.
I mean, like I have some guys like oh my God, so good at, they can cook their asses off. They can fucking do every station. They can do every component, everything on a plate. But to just throw them some stuff and like, yeah, make this happen. I need a dish with this, and then you come like, it's like, fuck, dude. It's like this table. If this table was a plate, they could fill it up. And that would be their plate because it's everything they know.
Everything,
yeah. And it's never composed. So yeah. So a lot of times, yeah, that would be the only thing I myself would be scared of myself being that or doing that. Because sometimes when you're in doubt, then you try to overcompensate. And then you see a lot in a lot of restaurants too, but just overcompensating by like quantity rather than quality or focus. And that's what the only thing I fear, and I don't want that to. I don't want to be judged on that.
So the last thing that I want to end up with, is something I always ask people. Who, if you had it's the question I always ask every guest, who would you cook under if you could? Anyone in the world, any time as well, dead or alive. Who would you want to cook for? And then who would you open or share? Who would you want to have a meal with? Open a bottle of wine, a bottle of Regency, knowing you, and and share a meal with and have a conversation with. Probably this one I should probably pre-send this out because every time I ask, they're always like in the bliss.
Yeah, I think you should send this question to people before you like to.
Just this one because everything else I like to keep it like raw and unscripted.
Yeah, this one needs thinking. It's not simple, and there's so many people I would love to share a bottle with. So many people I'd want to cook for. I think it is I think.
Let's start with work under. Who would you have wanted to work under?
If I was younger and with the respect I have for him, I might want to be cooking under the likes of Prin.
Prin?
Yeah. I think his food, although it may not appeal to everybody, but I think the way he's interpreted Thai cuisine, and also from the pedigree that he has as well, and also from the knowledge that he has from books, I think that is something I've wanted to explore and learn from. Being as free as he is with his food, being as humble as it looks on a plate, but it's not. Being as
I agree with that 100%.
Being as true to Thai cuisine, and also being not at the same time, but you never question it. You might eat it, you might not agree with it at times, but with someone change the menu fucking 6 times a year, you're gonna hit, some bumps, but respect for that. Like, who does that? Who used to do it every month,
Yeah.
Who does that? Like, and in the red book, in the star list, like, you can see like shit's been done like over and over and over and over and over. But to be able to like push your team to want them to learn something new, and you as yourself to gain more knowledge as you go and as you get older, and wanting to see the people around you grow, I think that was probably one person I would want to have. If it's a Thai, that would probably be it. Yeah.
He has, I feel like, so the most influential chef that I have had the blessing to work under, in terms of not cooking techniques, but in terms of like freedom of seasoning and flavor combination, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Pirkanya. He's really misunderstood now, and his restaurant Sketch in London, it's like very bipolar, very, very bipolar. Very, very bipolar. And if at some point, I think he was like the 3rd most Michelin star chef in the world, behind Newcastle and Rupert. And the only reason he hasn't been number 1 or number 2 is he didn't open any 1 star. All his outside of France restaurant either had 3 stars or 2 stars. That's it. He didn't do 1. He didn't have like 6 1-star bistro, around Europe or America. It was full-pledged fine dining. But before I arrived, I worked with someone who was working at Ducasse, which is very structured, very, a carrot tastes like a carrot the beetroot tastes like a beetroot. You don't. There's no extra change. You don't change the way the things taste. You just make things taste as good as they did, which was great to learn. It was a great base. But Pierre Gagné threw everything fucking out the window, and I've never seen a chef with that much freedom and confidence. And now, so after that, I worked with someone who was at the Fat Duck, who was very technical, analytic, which is what I do now. I'm more science, and it's how my brain works. Very logical, very black and white. So I find it very hard and intriguing, and almost jealous of people who can cook with that kind of freedom, you know. And Prin is, I feel like he's the Thai version of Pierre Gagné. Like, Pierre Gagné came to London. Sketch was like the first restaurant he opened outside of France, so he was there every month. With how busy he was, you know, with a legend that he is, you know, he was at Sketch once a month. He would spend 3 days with us. He didn't speak a fucking word of English. He probably has no idea who I was, but I would be in awe. And just watching him work, it really reminds me of Prin. You know, I don't know Prin that well, but I've seen him work, and I could see that the respect Thai people give Chef Prin is the same respect that Pierre Gagné gets from his French. Like, you have, his head chef has a moth. Like, that guy could fucking work anywhere, have his own restaurant. And he's been with Gagné for fucking like 25 years. You know, and he's a fucking moth, like the highest culinary accolade you could have in the world. You know, and the respect that Pierre Gagné has from his own peers, not media, not customers, his own peers, is the same way that I feel like the Thai community has with Chef Prin. The confidence, the freedom, and there is no explanation for the mad genius. You know, like you said, like he does some shit that looks, it doesn't make sense on paper, on picture, but then as a chef, and then you dissect it, and you have like these hidden complexities of like things that wouldn't work, and they do, and they come out, like, and it's something you can't teach. It's something you can't replicate. I feel like you're born with it, you know.
Yeah, and then if you want to like take Thai food to the next level, make it evolve, make it grow, and be innovative with it in a way that when people from the outside looking onto the dishes feel like it doesn't feel innovative. That's the best part. That's a big mind fuck, you know. You're sitting there, you're looking at it like, you know, and then like
you don't understand.
You already know that this is like special.
Yeah,
you know, it's different and special. But for people that do not understand it, it's going to be like, this one looks normal. I would maybe like, how would I say this? If you go to, like sometimes when you go to Septim, if you're from the outside looking in the dishes and then you're expecting French food, it looks nothing like French food. It looks super normal. And then if you didn't really give a shit about French food and didn't really care for it in this way, you wouldn't totally overlook it. Not even care about it, you know? But when you are there at Septim, you eat the food and you want to know why is it like this and what is the reason behind this movement of your food and this simplicity in your food, you get tingles, you know. That's like another restaurant that's I would compare with as for like a giant culinary, you know, beast like the French cooking, and then having a restaurant like Septim and something with another beast, which is the Thai cooking, and you have some rub.
Wouldn't that be a collab? You would
I would fucking go there like twice.
That would be the fucking collab of the fucking century. That would be epic. What about so Prin, someone you worked under, and who you want to cook for, dead or alive? It could be anyone.
Cook for
someone that you wish would try your food, or you would want to, like, you know. It doesn't have to be a chef. It could be a family member. It could be like, you know.
They try my food, but I just feel like just cooking for my parents without having them like. I mean, because they don't judge. It's like it's really nice to cook for them, and I think
they've always eaten your food, right?
I've eaten my food. Yeah. But every time my mom comes over, just because she's her, and she's always like, "How expensive is your restaurant? Why are we eating there? Let's not eat there. Like, let's go eat somewhere else around the corner."
Dude, I had the same. I think my mom came to Mia for the first time after 4 years. We opened last year, this year, and we did it because it was a wedding. It was my wedding. It was one of the activities we did for the wedding. Yeah.
So I think the reason, one of the reasons we did Wanayuk too was I wanted to open a restaurant there where my parents could come and eat it and not be left on the table feeling stupid. A lot of places the food is great. It might be too smart for a lot of people. It might be too intelligent for a lot of people. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but this is the real world.
I
right?
absolutely know what you mean.
I can sit at some dinner tables and I do not understand this anymore. And then can you imagine if I can open this place where my parents can sit there and still relate to the food throughout the whole meal, even if it's going to be 9 courses, but they just want to eat 3. But if you can keep them there from 9 courses, I feel like when you have that relativity and you can keep their attention for that long, you've won.
Yeah.
So that if I'm going to have to say this, I'm going to take Wanayuk as an example that we opened this place so that I can we can cook for our parents, and our parents would sit there and feel at home and feel at ease eating this 2-hour meal. Because I do not want my parents to feel stupid at a meal at a restaurant that I've opened. So that's one tribute and one homage I wanted to give that Wanayuk has wanted to do for my parents. So for that question, I'm going to say cooking for my parents.
That's a very cool way of looking at it, man. Yeah. That is a very cool way. And the last one, who would you open a bottle with? Prin also?
Yeah, we'd open too many bottles and that doesn't end well much.
You've already opened so many.
I would want to snap one with... Oh, fuck. Can't think of one. I don't know. I really can't answer this. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
It probably won't have to be in the food industry. I don't know who. I can't answer this one.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, I think the last question I would want to ask is France. So France is it's a beast.
Yeah.
Absolute beast. And I think in terms of many gauges of success, it has been definitely the one that has been hugely successful in different spectrums. In terms of sizing and in terms of volume, I think it's definitely the most successful project you've had. Talk me through about what would you pinpoint the success of France has been for for a lot of outsiders looking in that don't really understand it.
If I'm going to be short, it's just good sunlight and good bacon and eggs. That's really is. Okay, but jokes aside, I think the success of France comes from the team that is behind the restaurant, the team at Ivory Group itself, the team at Platters. I think they are so good at what they do in trying to make the product as good as possible and fine-tuning everything as quickly as possible in order for it to not have any flaws.
What really frustrates me is every time I talk to people, some within and some outside, every time Ivory comes into the group, they always throw the word, oh, they're very good at branding. And I look at them and I'm like, you have no clue how hard it is to get operation at that level, regardless of branding. It's like they really focus on the product. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The product itself, whether that's inclusive of the service, the food, it's like people have no clue to get to that point. You could have the best branding in the world, but if your operation is to shits, it doesn't matter.
I think in the country they're the best group in the country for sure. I mean, I'm even gonna throw Southeast Asia into it. I think they're to be able to control the amount of restaurants and amount of locations they have, to be able to keep the consistency, and run it the way they run their big massive ship is something spectacular. And to come back to France is when having these guys behind it, and also with having the chef and also the sous chef there that has been with me for a while till now already. One of them has actually opened Wanayuk with me as well. So, having these guys there really makes that big difference. As we talk about, like, they understand what I want, and then with that, the back of the house again, you take it, whatever is the marketing team, the guys sourcing the stuff for us, the team that's from the central kitchen pumping out the product for us as well. It's all these things that make that place really successful. In the end, like, people want to go there for consistency.
Yeah.
And when you open a second location, people are there to just question your consistency. No matter how close they are as you as a friend, that is the first thing they're going to look at. And then that's the first thing you go there and you're going to be like, let's see if this fucking thing is the same as the first one. And that's the first thing that comes across the mind, no matter how nice of a person you are. So then with that, they have proved themselves that, they can do it across the board. You take a place like Tom Smith, you go eat out somewhere 30 kilometers away from here, or the one at Emporium, you would have the same bowl of noodles because they're so meticulous in how they're going to check their stock or their soup and the materials.
It's almost scientific, I feel.
No, I mean, you're doing a one-off thing in a one restaurant. It is what it is, and that for one place, you can tell that stock is going to move from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But to do that from 10 p.m. into 10 p.m., 12 hours, and you can still have the same bowl of noodles at 10 a.m. and at 10 p.m., that's no joke. That's no joke. Just to control a stock, to make sure that it stays at the same level it is in our own kitchen with one pot going, that's already hard enough. But how do you keep that shit going like fucking all day in fucking 22 places?
It's true. I've actually never thought of the stock.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have been, regardless of the consistent operation, every brand that they do has identity, has DNA.
Yeah.
No brand is a copycat of another.
Yeah.
Even with their, they have the 3 Thai brands, and the common guy one as well. Which was honestly, I've had a common guy concept in my mind for the last 8 years, and I was shocked why there hasn't been a leader market for one. And then, and fucking the wording, Taiwanese, that's fucking genius. That's like fucking, when I saw that, I was like, fuck, how has no one fucking spotted this?
Yeah. And that's what they're good at too, pumping out the brands and making everything have its own proper identity. Yes, that's true. You need to have that, but that's not all it is.
No.
That's just the forefront. That's the package. That's what you see. That's how you can establish your brand. But Kumpla is really good at that part as well. Like pumping these brands out, having ideas with one of these one-off ideas as well. She's got a shit ton in her pipeline, so yeah. But then the thing about it is that she makes it happen.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I'm not to discredit anything. Like even I have ideas with me like for 10 years now. Or like you just said about your common guy for 8 years. Yeah. That's the difference. But then for her, it's like it takes her 8 days.
Yeah.
Obviously with money, but then she's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But then if you look at her like, background to like when she was 22, she had like an ice cream shop in Tongluo. And from that to now, it's like how far it's grown. And that's probably taken her like 20, 25 years, whatever it is, but yeah, we're going to sit on something for 8 years and 10 years on an idea. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so that's the difference.
Chalee, man. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but no, thank you for your time. I really do think that this is added value to the industry. Thank you for your honesty. I learned so much just from this 2 hours with you, and it's been super valuable. And I know that this content will be super valuable for people. Starting off later on in life is one. Taking the jump to fine dining is another one as well. But also, I feel like the biggest takeaway I have, every time we meet is how authentic you are with yourself. There's no mask, and I feel like that's the life that people should live more with themselves. It's free. You never put a persona. It is something that I've always appreciated about you. You're in front of the camera, off the camera, with a glass of whiskey in your hand, without a glass of whiskey, dancing, like you're so genuine that I think, and I'm happy to see genuine people rewarded because it encourage more genuinity and authenticity within ourselves. And I think it's something that the industry, should take more notice with, because obviously, as you know, sometimes it could be very fickle and fake, which doesn't serve anyone, I feel, Anyways, dude, thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.
Man. Appreciate it. ขอบคุณครับ